Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And welcome back to my Spider-Man review series. I have just now wrapped up both of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies, and now it is time to move on to the man that has taken up the mantle and has been playing him probably the longest out of all the live-action Spider-Man. Because I believe, he's been playing him for over a decade, so this is the longest running Spider-Man we've ever had. Because I'm now officially talking about Tom Holland. And no, I'm not talking about the director of Fright Night, even though he's a pretty damn good director. So, it is time to talk about the modern day Spider-Man with Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home leading up to his brand new movie, Brand New Day. And yes, I will be wearing this throughout the entire review. Why? Well, one, it's fucking awesome, and two, it's also just really, really comfortable. It feels like a pajama. It's all nice and cozy. I got it today finally. I ordered this like almost a month ago, and it decided to show up today.
Game! It finally came!
Hey, better late than never. But today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on Spider-Man Homecoming. And I actually have a lot of nostalgia with this movie because this was when this movie was coming out, I remember how excited I was for it, how much hype there was for me, how excited I was because of Spider-Man finally getting another movie. It was the first Spider-Man movie I had ever seen in theaters. Actually, no. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the first one I ever saw in theaters, excuse me. But this is the second movie I was actually going to be watching in theaters. Spider-Man was finally in the MCU. I was so excited for that because I loved his appearance in Civil War. I couldn't believe he was in that, and I loved that movie. So this was a movie that I was very, very excited for when it was coming out. Not only because it was MCU Spider-Man, but it was just another Spider-Man movie. And when it came out, I loved it because Spider-Man, who doesn't love Spider-Man and when you're fucking small little boy, but this was a movie that I loved rewatching countlessly. But however, there was a point in time where I actually didn't really like this movie. There was a point in time where I kind of just fell out of love with this movie. Now, I don't know if it's because of No Way Home coming out or is because Spider-Man had better appearances in the MCU, and I just felt like this was a very lackluster first appearance in his own solo movie, and plus there was just better Spider-Man movies in my mind. I don't really know why I lost a little bit of love for this movie. But thankfully, on this most recent rewatch, I didn't lose any love for it this time. But starting off with my positives on Spider Man Homecoming, and the first positive that I have for this movie is Michael Keaton as Vulture. Now, I remember when this movie was coming out, I didn't know that Michael Keaton was playing the villain. I didn't even know he was in the movie. I didn't know he was in the movie until I saw him on screen, and I instantly went, it's Batman! Batman's in this movie! And not only is it just awesome to see Michael Keaton, but his Vulture villain I think is arguably one of the best MCU villains that we have ever had in the entirety of the MCU. Because the MCU has always been known for having pretty lackluster villains, pretty forgettable villains. There's only maybe three at all that are really good with Thanos, Loki, and arguably Ultron for me personally. We don't have a lot of great MCU villains is my point. So this version of the Vulture and being played by Michael Keaton, it could have easily gone terribly and it could have easily been one of the most forgettable villains in the entire MCU like a lot of them are, but thankfully the Michael Keaton as Vulture is fucking awesome, and he might be the best part about this movie. And one thing that I also like how they made Vulture the main villain of this movie is uh, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4 was going to have Vulture as the main villain. There were storyboards about it, there was rumors about it. I forget the person that was going to play him, but it was scheduled to have Vulture be the main villain in Spider-Man 4. So to have this like full circle type moment to where Vulture ended up becoming the main villain in a Spider-Man movie, I really liked that. That kind of gives me a little bit of charm when I see this character. But not only is Michael Keaton just Michael Keaton and he has his moments of comedy and just kind of having fun or whatever, but there's moments where he's literally fucking terrifying. The moment that comes to my mind when I think that he's terrifying is the scene where he's talking to Peter when he knows that he's Spider-Man and he goes, "Don't interfere with my business because if you do, I'll kill you and kill anybody that you love just to protect my daughter and my wife." Like that whole scene That is one of, if not the best scene in this entire movie, because it's literally fucking terrifying. Because, again, Michael Keaton has his moments where he's Michael Keaton, having fun, charmed, funny, or whatever, Beetlejuice type moments. But there's moments where he's literally scary and a true threat, and I really liked that. And at the very end of where he's still kicking ass and trying to do whatever he can to get what he wants or whatever, like, this is just an awesome villain, and this is easily one of my favorite villains in the MCU. I don't know why he decided to come back in Morbius.
I've been reading about you.
I'm listening.
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, remember that? I'm glad that I don't. So there's sometimes where I forget. Why was that a thing? And the other casting that I want to talk about is Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Now, I've expressed my love for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and I have come around to Tom Holland as time goes on. I remember when he was first Spider-Man, and even when I was a kid, I never really liked Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I've always said that he was my least favorite Spider-Man. Now, when I first said that is because I did not like him whatsoever, but as time goes on, I only say he's my least favorite is just because I simply prefer the other two. He is a damn good Spider-Man and probably an even better Peter Parker. And I really love what he's brought to this character, and not only in just Civil War and Homecoming at this point, what he's gone on to do with this character is awesome. In Infinity War, Endgame, Far From Home, No Way Home, and we'll see what happens with Brand New Day, which is, from what I can tell, might easily be his best performance as the character. But what Tom Holland brings to this character is just so damn good, and it feels like that comic book like Peter Parker again. And I really love that. Not only is he just a high school nerd where he loves science and he has that, teenage charm to where he's trying to bounce out his life and he doesn't want to be a kid anymore and he has that, arrogance to him at moments. But as Spider-Man, he also just has a lot of fun. He has that quirky, smart-ass attitude that he usually does.
What's up, guys? Forget your pin number? Whoa, you're the Avengers! What are you guys doing here?
So, what Tom Holland brings to this character, I just absolutely love. And honestly, like with Andrew, I can't really argue if you did say this was your favorite Spider-Man because he does a damn good job. I love the personality that he brings to this character, and out of all of the live action Spider-Mans that we have got, this is the most comic accurate that we have gotten, both as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and especially as Peter Parker. And as we go on to see throughout the future projects, we get to see the emotional side of Peter, and he does a brilliant performance in those emotional roles as well, which I'll end up getting to those movies when I get to them. But Tom Holland as Spider-Man is just one of the best castings in the MCU, to where as time goes on, I just love him more and more. I didn't love him at first, but as time goes on, I just simply love him more. And for this to be his first Spider-Man movie and his first solo movie where he takes center stage and he makes it all about him, this was a damn good first impression of a solo Spider-Man movie in the MCU, and I love to see where they've gone on to do with this character, and I just love what Tom Holland has done. He's not my favorite by any means, but just because he's my least favorite does not mean I hate him. He's a damn good Spider-Man. After watching all of these Spider-Man movies all back to back to back with the Sam Raimi trilogy and the Garfield films, not the cat.
Get him, Garfield!
Get him, John.
But with watching all of these Spider-Man movies back to back, what I really enjoy about this movie and the being the first solo film in the MCU as a Spider-Man film, what I've really liked about this movie is that we don't go through the whole origin all over again. Like I talked about watching all the Spider-Man movies back to back, when you watch the first Sam Raimi movie and then you watch the first Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie, with both of those movies being origins and how Peter became Spider-Man and how he got bit by a radioactive spider, Uncle Ben's death, the whole
and over 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 and over.
with great power comes with great responsibility. All of that stuff, we already know Peter's origins. We already know what he's gone through. We already know that whole cliche shit. We've seen it times a dozen. We've seen it so many times, whether it's video games, comics, movies, you name it, we've seen it all before. We've seen it too many times at this point. And I'm really glad that this movie decided not to go on that route of showing us Peter's origin. So we pick up right as he's becoming Spider-Man and pick up as he's growing to this character, whether it's Stark giving him a new suit, him kind of gaining a relationship with Tony and Happy, and him slowly building up to becoming an Avenger or whatever. This is the point in time where he's kind of learning the process of being Spider-Man and how to balance out both his life as Peter and Spider-Man. And I'm glad that we just jump right into that and not having to go through Uncle Ben's death again, him being bitten by a spider. Now, I will fully admit, I do have moments when I rewatch this movie or rewatch any of these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I always do wonder what happened to his Uncle Ben. Neither is he mentioned or brought up. We don't ever learn about this version of Uncle Ben, and maybe there's reasons for that. Now, I have seen rumors saying that maybe Ben cheated on May, and that's why they never talk about him, or simply that Uncle Ben just never existed in this world. I don't know, but there are times where I kind of do wonder what made Peter want to become Spider-Man, put on the mantle, wanted to become the Spider-Man, because Uncle Ben is pretty much the main reason why he becomes Spider-Man. And so you kind of wonder why did Tom Holland's Peter become Spider-Man? What was that process looking like? Like what exactly happened or whatever. But at the same time, it's we're all Spider-Man fans. We already know his origin. We already know what he's gone through. We know about being bit. We know about Uncle Ben's death, possibly even in this movie. We already know all this, so we already know why he became Spider-Man. Now there are times where I kind of wonder, but at the same time, I'm glad we just jump into Spider-Man action and we just see that happening. Now, maybe in the future we'll get some sort of explanation of that, or maybe there is an explanation in one of the other movies and I just missed it, but it has been a little bit since I've rewatched any of these movies. Who knows? But I'm really glad that we didn't just do this wash, rinse, repeat scene of watching his origin happen all over again when we just watched Toby and Andrew's origin. And one thing I do think that this movie does better than the other Spider-Man origin movies, I guess first movies, I guess I'll say. And what these movies do better than all the other Spider-Man movies combined. This movie and this trilogy alone does a great job of showing high school life with Peter and then when he goes off to college. I feel like these movies best show off high school life and what it's like to be in high school, especially for someone who's in high school right now and who's about to go into his junior year. There's a lot of things in here where I relate to that with the high school crush, the high school parties, being picked on by a lot of people. There's a lot of things I can relate to in this movie, especially being picked on. I don't have a lot of friends. I sit here in my basement making videos. Just I've always thought that this movie does a very good job of showing you the high school life. Now, I never really felt like Toby's movies or Andrew's movies, they never really showed off high school life that well. Now, to be fair, Toby's Spider-Man, he graduated like an hour into the first movie, so we never really got to experience any of that. And then kind of the same thing with Andrew Garfield. We never really got to see him throughout high school. There was moments where we saw it, but I never felt like it was captured well. But however, in these movies, and especially in this movie, they really capture that high school life pretty damn well. Whether it's the high school parties, the high school crush, the dance, whatever. They capture it all well. And it probably helps that they casted a lot of actors and actresses that look like they are in high school, even though they're played by 20-year-olds. But now moving on to my mixed aspects. And my one mixed aspect that I do have about this movie is the love interest of Liz. Now, compared to all of the other love interests that we have gotten in these movies, whether it's Kirsten Dunst's MJ, Emma Stone's Gwen, or hell, even Zendaya's MJ, I think this is easily the weakest one that we have gotten. But I don't blame that on the actress. I don't blame that on the character herself. I think the character of Liz and other adaptations, like in the comics or in the Spectacular Spider-Man, I feel like the character in those are captured a lot better than she is in here, because this is like they kind of try to set her up as the love interest of these trilogy, and I honestly really wish that they went in that route instead of going in the MJ route. I honestly feel like they just went in the MJ route because that's the most popular love interest, and the MCU tries to do the most popular stories when it comes to comics, and with not only stories but with characters as well. So there is a part of me that is a bit bummed that they never went in the direction of having Liz as the main love interest, because I feel like there could have been something good there. But however, just the character herself, she's kind of just there. She doesn't really do much. She's this pretty girl that Pierce looks at all the time whenever he's around her, because he has the biggest crush on her, a lot like Toby's crush on MJ in the Sam Raimi trilogy. It's kind of similar to that in this as well. However, the chemistry between the actress and Tom, I don't necessarily is all there. There's moments where I feel like there's something, but at the same time there isn't. Again, I don't blame the actress. I feel like the actress does give a good performance and playing Liz, so I don't blame her at all. I more blame the writing and the direction and the decision making with her character. Now, again, I feel like they could have made her the main focus throughout this trilogy, but at the same time, it probably was smart that they didn't. And for some reason, they basically made her the love interest to hide that Zendaya was MJ, which it's not even Mary Jane, it's Michelle, which I think is fucking stupid. But yeah, I don't really think that she's a very interesting love interest either. But now moving on to my negatives. And one of my first negatives is an issue that I've always had with this movie. I hate how involved that Tony is in this movie. Now, I love Robert Downey Jr. I love the dynamic between Tom Holland and him and his Iron Man and his Spider-Man. I think their dynamic and relationship throughout the entirety of the MCU is one of the best, and it shows it in Infinity War and in Endgame, and then it shows how much the death of Tony Stark affects Spider-Man and Far From Home, which I'll get into that later. But that I really like, and that's something I really enjoy throughout the entirety of the MCU. But in this movie alone, this is supposed to be the introduction of Spider-Man in the MCU. Pretty much, this is the first solo film in the MCU. This is supposed to be a Spider-Man film. However, when you're including Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man throughout the entirety of the movie, making him the father figure of Spider-Man, it kind of makes it hard to watch Spider-Man, because throughout the whole movie, Iron Man or Tony tries to make the decisions for Spider-Man. He tries to live his life. He doesn't want Peter to go out and do these big missions and stop these big crime fighters like Vulture. He wants him to stay low to the ground and fight these lower villains, pretty much these simple thieves or rapists or whatever. He wants him to fight people like that. He doesn't want him to go after crime bosses or mobsters or whatever. And to me, I feel like that's kind of stupid. I understand that they're trying to make Tony the father figure of Peter, and they're trying to have him be a mentor before he becomes like a member of the Avengers, but I just never liked that. It kind of makes it feel like that it's not a Spider-Man movie and that it's a Peter and Tony movie. For fuck's sakes, on literally all of the posters for this movie, it's both Spider-Man and Iron Man. And Iron Man's not even in this movie that much for him to be on the fucking poster. He's only on the poster because Robert Downey Jr. is that big. Like, he basically started the MCU, and these movies saved his career. Like, I get it, but I don't really like how they did that. I feel like there's a way you could have kept him included without him being, having Peter be Tony Jr.'s whatever. And my final negative is more of a nitpick, but the adaptation of Shocker in this movie, um, this is a joke.
You serious?
He's a fucking joke, dude. And Shocker's an awesome villain. I've always really enjoyed him, especially in the Spectacular Spider-Man. Like, I love the Shocker. Like, he's not this big villain that I adore or whatever, but I like him whenever he shows up. But in this, it's two different people. He's one person. Just one. You just need one. Not two. Just one. Like, you have one dude that's like this snarling, confident, ego-lusting asshole type character that doesn't like to listen to Michael Keaton's character, doesn't listen to him. He causes destruction, nearly gets them caught all the time. He loses a weapon. Michael Keaton's like, "Oh, you're fired. Get out of here." And he basically threatens him, like, "Oh, I wonder where your wife is gonna wonder where you get all that money, knowing all the information I have." And so Michael Keaton kills him, and then he gives his little, fist thing that he uses for his shocker powers or whatever. He gives it some to one random black dude that works for him, and he goes, "Oh, here you go, you're the shocker." It's not a mantle. It's one dude. Like, this is one of the worst This is one of the worst villain comic book adaptations, and it's kind of a shame too because Shocker could have been a cool villain in this. He could have been a cool sidekick for Vulture, but he's. I got nothing else to say, but other than he's a joke. But overall, guys, I really enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming. This is a good introduction to the character in the MCU, and this is a good start for his MCU debut in a way, which his debut was in Civil War, but I always like to think of his solo movie as his full debut in a way. But this also gave us the introduction of Tom Holland, who does an amazing job in this role. I really enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming. It's a good Spider-Man film, and it's another solid entry into the MCU. So if you are a Spider-Man fan and you are an MCU fan, I guarantee you you're going to enjoy this one. So what do you guys think about Spider-Man Homecoming? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Is this one of your favorite MCU movies? Is this one of your favorite Spider-Man movies? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe, hit the bell notifications so you will get notified for all of my latest videos and for the rest of my Spider-Man review series. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, until my next video, I'll see you all next time.